Turkey's main opposition takes the lead over President Erdogan's party in nationwide local elections. Celebrations in Bulgaria and Romania as visa-free travel in the Schengen zone officially begins. Polling stations have closed and votes are being counted in Turkey's local elections. Early results showed the main opposition party retaining control over key cities. The election is seen as a test of President Recep Tayyip Erdogan's popularity. In Istanbul, the opposition Republican People's Party mayor Ekrem İmamoğlu is leading the race. Erdogan is backing former Urbanisation and Environment Minister Murat Kurum for the post. The president's pick for mayor of the capital, Ankara, is trailing the incumbent. Erdogan's AK party has been trying to win back voters in Ankara and Istanbul, which they lost to the opposition 5 years ago. Some 61 million people were eligible to vote in the election. Security was stepped up across the country to prevent violence. However, fights in several cities resulted in the deaths of at least 2 people. Passengers from Germany arriving at Sofia Airport were greeted with Bulgarian flags as the country marks its accession to the EU's visa-free Schengen zone. Its inclusion means travellers can move more freely throughout the bloc without border checks. Bulgarian government and EU representatives attended a ceremony at the airport to mark the milestone. Outgoing Prime Minister Nikolai Denkov described Bulgaria's inclusion as a historic moment. For now, though, the visa-free travel is restricted to air and sea journeys. A veto by Austria means the new status doesn't apply for land routes due to concerns of an influx of refugees. Meanwhile, Romania is also celebrating its entrance into the zone. The 2 countries hope to become full Schengen members by the end of the year.
15 years have passed since the last update of a treaty of the European Union. Entering into force in 2009, the Treaty of Lisbon clarified the division of powers between the EU and member states. Since then, some have called for treaty changes in anticipation of the bloc's enlargement.
The EU needs to be made future-proof. It has to become more agile. It has to have more capacity to act, in particular if the EU is going to grow.
Institutional reforms would also aim to build on the EU's capacity to respond to contemporary challenges.
We are dealing with a different international context, and Europe needs to raise its capacity to defend itself, to support Ukraine.
So the European Parliament, which gave the green light at the end of November to proposals for reforming the treaties of the Union, proposed to create a defence union with military capabilities. Proponents of reform argue the defence of the rule of law and democratic legitimacy of the EU could also be strengthened.
One of the major weaknesses of the European Union has been, over the past years, that it hasn't been able to protect the rule of law in all member states.
The expert recommends increasing budgetary conditions and improving Article 7 of the Treaty of the European Union, which allows the suspension of a member state's voting rights in the Council in the event of non-compliance with its fundamental values. Triggered against Poland and Hungary, Article 7 never succeeded and has not yet achieved its goal. Digital and energy transitions, the fight against climate change and health crises are all global challenges that require increased EU capacity for action, according to experts.
Europe needs to have a key role in improving global governance when dealing with climate change.
When it comes to energy, experts and MEPs propose the creation of an integrated European energy union to guarantee a stable, affordable and sustainable energy supply for Europeans. And there are also calls for increased EU competence to ensure fair and impartial access to healthcare within the EU or to conduct group procurement of vaccines. However, opponents of these proposed reforms believe that these powers belong to member states, and many are calling for more national sovereignty.